All right, we're gonna get started, everybody.
All right.
Hello.
Yay!
My name is Jeremy. Thanks for coming. This is the Mama Tried Flat Out Friday weekly podcast with your host, Scott Johnson. Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
With your host, Warren Heyer.
How's it going? Glad to be here.
And we have the Litas here today. But hello, Litas.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have names?
I'm Margaret.
Margaret.
I'm Valerie.
Valerie.
Kelly.
Kelly. Got it. I'm going to forget that, so I'm going to write that down. There's a running theme where I forget names. But
a lifelong theme.
Yeah,
Know your own.
49 years long theme.
I think a lot of people have that same problem. So.
I think Prox is deliberate.
I want to quote you, Scott, earlier this week. My talent for messing up names is unparalleled.
I think it was mispronouncing name or words.
Mispronouncing words.
But it applies.
Okay. Well, before we get into an interview, we'll get to know the Litas. I've got some questions here. We're going to get to know you as an organization and as individuals. Before we do that, I got to get a little bit of housekeeping. Scott, Warren, where are we at? What's going on with Mama Tried? Let's start there.
Well, we went live. We put all our new branding up and
Announce the date.
announced the date.
Worst kept secret ever.
Yeah, solidified that it's actually going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited.
The raffle bike is up.
Yeah, go buy tickets, please, Scott.
What's a raffle bike? Explain that to me.
It's a 53 Panhead that we're raffling off.
I think it's a 50. Maybe I should look at the VIN.
I think it's 50.
I buy a ticket.
Yeah, you buy a ticket on the website, and
Put it
it's
in a
$20
thing.
bucks, and you put
Sticker.
Oh yeah, you get a sticker. You buy a sticker.
Where can I go check this bike out? See if I want to enter and win.
It's Iron Horse. It's on display at the Iron Horse.
Oh, the bike's not here.
No, it should be in here. We should put it up on the
No.
stand behind us.
Well, that'd be
Yeah.
hot.
Probably gets more traction of the Iron Horse.
Probably. Less lead.
Good hotel.
Just saying.
So you announced your dates, tickets. Why would I want to buy tickets in advance to Mama Tried?
Save a little bit of money. Not much. If you buy both days, you save a little bit more. You know how it goes.
Are we doing that thing this year where we were going to do like a morning ticket and an afternoon ticket?
Nope. No, it's just
Because we didn't
come
really,
in when you
because we
want.
haven't had the log jam like we
It
did.
gives me
last
a
time.
headache trying to think about organizing that.
Anything related to tickets gives me a headache.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Who the hell's gonna listen and who's gonna like? It's just gonna be more problems with people trying to snake the door and
Yeah.
What the door?
snake.
All right, and then so we have also we're just about to announce Flat Out Friday.
Yeah.
Flat Out Friday is going to happen,
Yeah.
but the artwork is delayed, and our setting up the tickets with the Pfizer is a little bit delayed, but it's coming. We're working hard on it. Our team is working on it.
Yeah, and I think we've got a lot of really good, and you can comment more on this, but there's some like good discount stuff, discount codes and stuff for people to buy tickets early and save some money.
We'll get into that in another time. But one final part on Flat Out Friday is also sign up is going to be announced.
Do you have a
Or
date for that?
Well, the date is depending on the artwork.
Gotcha.
And when the regular ticket announcement, which was supposed to be yesterday, then it was supposed to be today, and
It's supposed to
So
be
Friday.
it's supposed to be tomorrow.
Sure.
Tomorrow it is.
Sure. Once we announce that we're going to do it, then I'd like to wait or two to get people ready. Like we'll say once we announce, we will say sign up is X date. Hopefully it's 2-3 days after.
So you're gonna announce the show and the date and the when, where, who, and what, and then you're gonna announce sign up.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, thanks, Litas, for the housekeeping. Thanks for coming to our lead shack.
Sure. Thanks for letting us come. Hopefully you let us leave.
Before, real quick, let me ask you this: what is a Lita? You know, what is a Lita? Is it a thing? Is it a
It's a group of women riders.
okay? And why does it have a name? Why can't you just be the Heartbreakers or the Wildcat?
Well, there's the leaders. They're out of Chicago.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Going for it.
All right.
A women's riding group.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's because they ride bikes that lead.
That's probably what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
Knucklehead,
Right. I
So
was wondering what that was.
they're rock and roll.
Yeah, but what is
so-
there is there a definition for elite? Not that it's
Yeah, that's what I was
like, is
getting
there
at. Yeah.
is it a animal? Is it a
I think translation-wise, it's ladies, but really it's just the name of the collective group that we're
Cool.
in. There's
Okay.
not a ton of meaning behind the name other
Sure.
than
that it's fun and it sounds good?
yeah.
No,
I
it's
mean,
right
because
on
it
the
started
logo.
off as just one
Yeah.
person trying to meet up with another any other women riders
Sure.
in Salt Lake City.
Sure.
So
Okay, that's
they,
where-
they didn't picture it across the world as it is today.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's where it started in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Jessica Haggett is the founder,
Okay.
and she just found it really hard to find other women riders. If you've ridden in Utah, it's not like. So she found some friends, and from that she built on it to make a larger group, and it really took off, and we're here, and we're the Litas Milwaukee.
Because people kept asking her, like, how do I start what you have in my city? And so
Oh.
that's where it came from. So that's
Sure.
how we went from Salt Lake City to Milwaukee.
Right.
Okay.
What is how in comparison to Salt Lake versus Milwaukee? How old? Like how deep are you guys in?
Yeah, like which chapter, like
Oh,
of successive chapters, like where
I mean,
were you
because I
guys
haven't
in
been
the-
there since the inception, but I'd say I think they're around 7 years old or so.
Okay.
And then Milwaukee chapter is
4 or 5.
is it a
No,
chapter?
it's longer than that.
call it
Branch.
that?
They're called
Branch.
branches. Yes.
So I met Michelle in 2018. Prior to that, there were some other ladies that ran this chapter. And then it's just taken different, some ladies moved, some ladies,
Sure. It's
Mm-hmm.
evolving.
stepped,
Yeah,
away.
That's a perfect word for it.
Yeah,
It's always evolving.
yeah. So there's a Kettle Marine group, and there's a Madison group
Oh,
that
cool.
just started recently, based off of a couple ladies who would ride all the way from Madison to Milwaukee. And they were like, "Well, this is kind of far. Let's see if we have any ladies
For a weeknight
local
bike night,
for a weeknight bike night." It's
So
hard.
it's blood in, blood out, right? And you have to.
Right
It's
on.
like it's like a beat down scenario in order to
Yep.
join.
I mean, we don't like to say that, but no. No,
That's
it's
secret.
just come one, come all. If you want to ride. If you can make it, make it. If you can't, you can't. There's no requirements. There's no dues. There's no
Any brand, any
No.
whatever, no bullshit.
yeah,
Just-
no bullshit.
no affiliation to a certain type of motorcycle or how long you've been riding. We have some really super experienced ladies that race. We have brand new ones who have just taken the class. We have ladies who are practicing to take the class, so we'll go out on rides and help them, just sort of get comfortable. Sometimes it's 2 ladies that are going out together, and sometimes there's 20, 30 of us. It all just depends. You can make it, you can make it.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool. That's awesome.
Is the organization like a hierarchical organization, like where you have a treasurer, a president? No? It's
There's
just
none of that. It's really, I mean, it's so simple. It's just women getting together to ride.
Yeah. We do have what's called co-founders. So they're seen as sort of, and Margaret's one of our co-founders, as the leaders of the group
okay.
that help manage things, and they're in direct communication with Jessica and the Salt Lake City ladies, for merch and branding and different things. Like I said, we don't have any bylaws or anything, but don't be a dick.
Don't be an
so,
asshole. That's like
It's a good rule.
It's just like be respectful, especially just with how inclusive like the Litas are meant to be. Like if you identify as a woman, then come ride with us.
Sure. You mentioned that you're a co-founder, and that's an official title. Were you?
Yes.
Is that you? Are you voted in, or if you were to leave, is someone? You know what I mean? There's got to be a little bit of politics.
She
Yeah.
she just stepped up. I mean,
Yeah.
when
Right.
there's a need, we fill it, and
Are you-
she
Right. As the group gets
No,
larger,
mhm.
there's just a little bit more to do as far as like we get the emails for members that want to join.
Sure. Sure.
So it's just like that type of communication, and then just trying to help coordinate things that we want to do. Anyone can post a ride in our group, or put together a ride, whether it's just a simple like, hey, I'm free tonight, you want to go for a ride, or an actual like, okay, we're gonna kickstands up,
Yeah.
3 p.m. on Saturday, we're going around the Kettle Moraine or something like that.
And we have a group chat that we're all in, so we have an app that we manage everything through GroupMe. And so as people want to come in and join, they get added to the group. They can silence it if it's a little too much for them, but we have a full calendar of events and schedules, and we try to put it out as long as we can. That way people are able to join whenever they can.
Right.
But sometimes it's that random, like, hey, it's going to be really nice tomorrow. Who wants to go ride?
So how can you join the Litas, Kelly?
So you can go to our website. But no, we have a Milwaukee Instagram that we post everything on. We have the Facebook, so all the events are posted to all the different social media sites. So depending on what you have, there's ways to find us.
Right.
Sure.
And the Litas actually put together an app. So now there's the collective is an app, and people can find each other in the different branches that way too.
Yeah, I mean, we even had a woman who posted in the group, and she's like, "Hey, I'm looking at this bike in Milwaukee. Is there anyone that can like take me and show me up?" And so we brought her up to the place, and she unfortunately had a broken arm at the time, so she wasn't able to actually ride the bike.
Oops.
So, like,
But somebody could.
But somebody
for
could.
her. Yeah,
So
that's
she
great.
got to see it and hear it run and do all of that, and then we helped her coordinate getting it shipped back down to Texas, and
Cool.
she's got it today.
That's awesome.
How did you get in the Litas?
I
mean, I'm glad you're
right.
here. but How did you get there?
How did I get there? Yeah.
How did you find out about
Wait,
it?
by the way, what are you doing here, Valerie? Whose show is this? You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear you. The opening credits.
But I mean, that's awesome. I would like to know because I know how you got here.
Yeah.
So,
Right. I mean, I was looking online for other women to ride with. None of my friends ride, so yeah, looking for different groups, and I liked the Litas were globally recognized. So if you move, or even if you're just traveling, you can see if there's a group in that
Nice.
area and meet up. I like that aspect and how inclusive it was, and then that there's no dues, there's no like membership fees, or it just was so simple. Like, all right, we're just gonna meet up and ride, and that's what attracted me.
I'm impressed that they were able to roll out such an organization in 7 years and have a global following, global organization. It's really impressive. But I got a question before we even get a little bit deeper, and I want you to tell the people in the back, why is the Litas necessary? Why do women need a riding group? Because someone's going to say, well, men can't have a riding group. For the people in the back at square one, why is this important?
Well, wait, men already have riding groups. So whether they're riding with their pack or their MC or RC, they have them and they're exclusive. It's important because we can ride just as well. I'm not going to go down that road, but we want
You
to
wanna
be
start with shit?
comfortable. What? We want to ride and be comfortable. So if this is the best way to do it, then that's why we're doing that, I think.
Yeah, and we do a lot of co-sponsored rides too. So we're not like, hey, you're a dude, you can't come ride with us. So for like our International Women's Day, we have this group of guys that always come and they'll block for us, as we're going through intersections, and they're always our photographers for the big group shot after the ride is done. But so we're not opposed to having more people ride. I mean, the goal is to ride, to bring people to the sport and to open up that outlet. But I think as women, it's important to know that we also have a place in it, because traditionally, when you look back historically at photographs and everything else, it's a pretty male-dominated industry.
What?
What?
Get out of here.
What? So it was something that was seen as, super important to have that brand new rider who's not comfortable riding next to a dude doing wheelies down the road and,
that's pretty hard.
everything else.
It's hard to get into, when you're nervous like that and you want to get out for the first time, even as a male, doing something like that it's a lot.
Yeah.
It
A lot of
is.
responsibility, a lot of nerves, a lot of.
Right.
It's cool to have a
And it's
place to go.
intimidating. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a lot more, especially in Instagram, because I'm on the grams. Young girl riders for racing, for anything motocross. I don't remember seeing that when
Sure.
I was younger. So if that little bit, because the kids younger and younger see things on social media,
So
and
much more.
I think a chick would be cooler on a motorbike than doing some dumb shit she could be doing. So I like that aspect of it,
Yeah.
right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, we love seeing it. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to foster it, not being too douchey about it, but we need to support it and make sure that it happens more because it's important.
Yeah.
I would
Also-
love to see
Sure.
more women builders for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are they out there and we
Yeah.
just don't know? And if they are, how do
It's
we
hard.
get in
It's really
contact
hard.
with them?
We really actively go and look and hunt and peck. It's like
Mhm.
it's difficult to find it, and whenever you do, it's probably 10% of them are able to come out and join us, and the other ones are whether they have trepidation of coming out or nerves or just can't make the move, or it's just been difficult, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. So
That's hot.
And
There's
probably-
Leah, the
probably
welder.
Mhm.
I'm sure. I know she makes sissy bars.
Mhm.
They're pretty badass.
Who's she?
She is Rhea, the welder. She does fabrication. I'll have to think. I can't tell you. I'll Google it in a second when you're not paying attention to me. But, I mean, she's
From Milwaukee?
no. I think she's from Michigan.
Are you saying you're recommending to Warren that this woman should be in the show?
Or somehow maybe sell something, or if I don't
Be
know, just get her
residents or
name out.
something.
I
Yeah.
don't know if she's a
That's cool.
fabricator of bikes.
sure.
I know she is in the motorcycle community, but it's not just her sissy bars. But she's pretty badass.
Yeah, there's we do have all kinds of bikes, right? There's stock and chopper and whatever. So whenever we see a lady on a chopper, we're like beeline straight forward to see what's up, see if they're about it, see if they want to, come hang out.
You've had women builders in Mama Tried. I've
Yeah.
met a few of them
Yeah.
over the past few years. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, percentage-wise, right? 95% of the men that are in the scene aren't builders,
Right.
right? So it's not like every woman rider needs to be a builder. Also.
Yeah, that's
So
not important. It's
It's
But
just
it'd be
like
badass.
it's just great. Yeah, it would be badass, and it is badass. I just think it's more fun when there's females around. It's not just like a dude fest.
Yeah.
Tired of-
Had it for quite a while.
And then,
yeah.
so
tired of
Yeah.
white guys with beards.
yeah, talking about the same old shit. Yeah.
Well, and we're lucky too that now Flat Out Friday, the women's class, has been doing awesome the last handful of years.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what these guys do with the magic of Mama Tried, but with the racing, for sure. I try to create a space. And there's a little bit of a debate, I guess, amongst myself. Am I being helpful or disrespectful by having a women's only class? You know what I mean? I have a women's only hooligan and a women's open women's. And the philosophy is that I want to give a space for extra practice, a place for you to practice comfortably and be supportive in your own way. And some would say, again, I'm catering to the naysayers, but I have Flat Out Fridays organized where you really can't race in two classes unless you're a woman. You can race in almost everything
Right, because doesn't
twice,
Zaria
3 times.
race
Sure, this
in-
year Zari could race in open women's,
Uh-huh.
open hooligan, and she could race in hooligan, for
That's
example.
badass.
Yeah, but I think it's great just to be able to give that space, because even when you're looking at the 50cc class, like more and more young girls are getting into
Yeah.
it, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, whooping my kid's ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel that, both of mine too.
Well, and I think that I think that it is a good thing, because even in regular flat track racing, when you just if you're coming in from the outside, like you see a race, you're like, wow, I want to start doing that. It's intimidating to be able to have to figure out where there are races, prepare a bike. There really isn't anywhere to practice. You have to enter races just to learn how to do it.
Yeah,
you just
and
have
gear.
to sign up and go out there.
Gear for women
Yeah.
is tough.
That's
Is
true.
that how
Yep,
Litas
that's true
asked
too.
to land? But you can. That's a place to.
Yeah, you have to be
Get
a member
those
though. It's not.
Azzy,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that
So
how
there's
that
there's hoops. So it's like I think generally anywhere that there's the ability for anyone to be able to like get us a little bit of a leg up and into the scene and feel comfortable, a little bit more comfortable, and then really gravitate. Gives you a little bit more confidence to really gravitate to it, and
Yeah,
I think that's
sure.
important.
You mentioned a little bit, Scott, about making it catering to the people in the stands, because I've always thought that's the success of Flat Out Friday. It's not necessarily money or attendance. It's just how many stories we hear that people were saying, I was in the stands, I want to come do this. And that happens
A lot.
a lot, right?
I ran
It
into a
happens
kid in the bathroom. Jack.
just right now here today.
No,
Oh,
last year. he was fucking stoked. He was like, I came to a show and a race. I saw him do it. Now I'm doing it.
How about that kid that drove that
That's the
motorcycle
kid.
with in the Ford Escort?
Yeah. No, it was a wasn't it an electric or like a Prius?
It was
Yeah.
a Prius.
Yeah, he took his front end off his dirt bike and threw it in and
took
drove
his
the
took his
Sturgis.
passenger seat out of
What?
his Prius and put it in the inside
He
the
rode
car.
the air
yeah.
scrambles with us.
Yeah, it
That's
was
insane.
awesome. He was so
awesome.
Well,
stoked.
you actually were the catalyst of my very, very close friend Michelle Marie, who is actually a co-founder
Mhm.
of the Litas into racing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Well, me, Jeremy, or flat out
you,
Friday?
Jeremy,
Mhm.
Oh, really?
yes. I mean, she's flagged at ASI, so
Okay.
that little bit, and then a little bit here, and then wanting to go fast on dirt around in a circle
Sure.
a lot. She
made the jump.
she's there now.
Yeah.
She did really well this season
Yeah.
for
Did she?
Mhm.
female beginner rider.
Wonderful.
And then
Sure.
she got her son into it,
Yeah.
and he did really well as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a
I mean,
great
it's like
community.
Mhm.
it's a keep on moving kind of thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but I don't want to blow smoke. I got a lot of questions, and we only have 40 minutes to do this.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to go back to your calendar. What kinds of things are on your calendar, Litas?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. So what's your, do you have an annual thing that's like the big
Yeah.
party?
The Lita
big-
Games.
Yeah.
Well, you mean locally
The leader
or?
games.
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, there's Babes Ride Out, which is East Coast and West Coast. One was just this past weekend.
It's 2 different dates.
Two different dates.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So
One
that's
for
really like all Litas.
all leaders, but not just leaders. Women
It's
from wherever.
all over.
That's just a big thing. That's one of our members went to this year. She met a lot of really good people.
But I mean, it's even as simple as like throwing something up on for the dates for Sturgis, and throwing something up for Flat Out Friday, and throwing something up for, because we always volunteer at Mama Tried, and we're lucky enough now to have a space in a booth, so we thank you for that.
yeah, that was awesome.
But it could be as little as like we're doing a Halloween party, or we're doing
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving or something, because we're not. It was founded around the idea of let's get out and ride.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also a community, so like we want to be friends,
Highway.
and we the Litas now have
Milwaukee.
a sponsored section of a road here in Milwaukee, and so we do a fall and a spring cleanup where we go out and we pick up trash and we try and make the streets clean for everyone as well as ourselves.
It's called Adopt a Highway program.
Yeah,
It's the one up off of
Capital.
Cat.
on Highway
Capital.
100.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, cool.
So it's nice, and we freeze our ass in the summer. We find
Yeah,
some
that's
really
great.
weird shit.
I was
We do
gonna
find
say.
some
I was gonna
interesting
say.
things.
I found more Hennessy bottles, I think, the first time. That's a liqueur. It tastes like brandy or something. I don't know. But a lot of weird shit.
Nice.
We're always trying to get together at least once a month for whether it's a ride or whether it's to clean up the highway. And in Wisconsin, we've got a shorter riding
Yeah, I was gonna
season,
say,
so
yeah,
we
it's
try
not
to
if you
get
wanna
together
just
over the
stop
winter
hanging
for
out.
meet and greet. There's new members or people who haven't met yet, so it's nice to kind of get together in winter and actually see a lot more faces that way
Yeah.
as well.
Not just riding with helmets on.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have our bike nights, so we
Throughout
try
the
and
summer.
do
Where are your bike
throughout the
nights? Where and when are
summer.
your bike nights?
Change it up.
Yeah, we try.
So this season, last year we were at Fuel exclusively, but this year we kind of mixed it up because we wanted to pull those riders in from further away. So we had
I think I saw this.
And
You were a bar around
Hollywood.
a bike night around the area.
Yeah.
So I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went down
Great
to
idea.
Caledonia. We went.
Good
up
people down there in
We went up
Caledonia.
north
Yeah,
to
I
Shorewood. Like so,
Yeah.
whoever we try to
That's
make
cool.
it so
Change
it's
it up.
accessible.
Yeah.
So if we say, all right, we're doing a kickstands up at 5, and the people coming up from Racine
Yeah.
aren't like booking it to have to
Sure.
try and get
Sure.
there. They
They
can't
are.
make
That's a great
it.
idea. It's a great
So
idea.
gotta keep it flexible.
It's all about the flexibility.
Well, so I'm being serious, a little bit serious about this, like Lita Games. Is there like a national event, a national Lita cookout?
Well, prior to COVID, they had Pussy Ramble, which was an exclusive
Whoa.
Utah.
Well, that was
Like-
in Michigan, but there was going to be the Blacktop Ramble.
Blacktop.
Ramble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pussy Rambles in Michigan.
Michigan.
Damn it.
Okay.
Too many rambles. So many rambles.
A lot of rambles.
Right.
Yeah, I actually remember that. I was about to push the button on the computer to buy tickets for Blacktop Ramble, the first
And then
Litas like national meetup, and COVID hit. So
We loaded in about 30 bags that day.
Yeah.
That sucked.
I remember that.
So is there another one coming up?
Pussy Ramble was just in the past.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
What's,
happened.
last week was the Babes Ride Out.
Because you,
West
you
Coast.
have me excited. I mean, of course, I wouldn't be a part of your organization. It would seem disrespectful, but I'm intrigued by the community, and I would love to go to this
All right.
national event because you speak the language and you know the secret handshake when you meet someone from Des Moines.
Can
It's not
males
like
go there? Males can.
no, these are exclusive.
Yeah.
yeah, for those meetups,
That's
yeah.
what
For those
for
ones.
those national things, but you are welcome to.
Well, that's my next
We
question.
do Lita's summer camp out
We
Okay.
do.
for just us, and you can come to that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just you.
But there will be stipulations.
I have to bring
Like
my mom.
like bikini bottoms
Yeah.
only, or like
Absolutely.
All right.
gonna
Yeah.
shave your chest for that one, Scott?
Yes.
Either that or the full waiter suit. So like,
I'm such a prude. I would just be staring at my feet, saying the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
One of our leaders has a cabin about 4 hours north, and some of us leave Thursday, some of us leave
Yeah, that
Friday.
sounds great.
We have a car, they take our food, or we
I'm stoked on the
Right.
community. I'm stoked.
Come on.
I'm stoked on this. I mean, again, we do these things in the male world too. Fantasy football. We do the same thing. But here's my question. I want to get a little bit deeper. Are we doing enough? Are we doing enough for the Litas? Are we doing enough for women?
I think this is off to a great start.
yeah,
Okay.
But then the question is, where could it go?
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. How do we get better?
Well, and what do you got? You got.
Well, I was like, kudos, brother, you got a girl or a woman, or
yeah,
Sure.
the
on
marketing.
the,
Mhm.
yeah,
The
for all
marketing
the
stuff
tried.
is super cool.
Yeah,
and
that-
what was that word you used?
What do you mean?
The word that people, you're woke.
Oh, woke. Yeah. Yeah, we were accused of being woke, or trying to be woke, on the interwebs.
Mm.
I'm sure that was a small person. It's a small minority.
Yeah, it sucks though that it happens, right? Like that's just it's the easy thing to say to stir some shit up.
Sure, but is that even necessarily a negative term? I
don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think that we're growing so rapidly, and our vocabulary is changing so rapidly, and I think ultimately for the better. Although it's difficult to get used to, but ultimately we're trying to create a culture of respect. And if not having like a big titted woman on there, which could have been,
Yeah.
and no one would have said shit
No?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
about it, but we're like showing like, hey, women are riding, and I didn't even, by the way, I didn't even notice. Can I get some points for that, if you will? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't notice that a woman was even on the flyer until now you mention it.
She's
That's
cute.
because that's what we would want, is that it's not unusual for children to see women flat track racers. It's not unusual for people to see women.
That was the
Yeah,
first thing I
it's always-
noticed on the flyer
Yeah.
was that it was a woman on the front, and I was like, rad. All
Well,
right,
it's not
this
that
is
it
new.
was just a woman,
It wasn't her
but it
body.
was the woman that looked like strong
Yeah.
and badass.
Sure.
And it wasn't her body. It was
No.
nothing sexual. You could tell she was female or
Yeah.
identified as female.
And if that's
whoever
being
she
woke,
is.
then
She has flames for hair.
I
Yeah.
stand accused.
Yeah.
That's hot. Who did the art?
That
Zach
it came from
Jacobson.
Zach Jacobson. What's his new company? It's Jacobson Design. Jacobson
He's
Design.
been doing art branding for quite a long time.
Yeah,
So
he's rad. He's
he also works for Harley.
local
Really?
He
Wisconsinite.
works in the design department.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a
Nice.
great dude. And very talented.
Super talented.
Yeah.
And we didn't specify. That was his idea, and we were like, cool. We didn't even think of it as being like unusual.
Yeah,
What
which
you
is
said.
what I'm saying is
So
that
like when you said that, I was like, really? Why would anyone say anything? And then I was like, oh right, I guess.
Well, it's either way it got talked
Yeah,
about.
it
so
got attention.
Good.
Good.
That's
what you want.
And if anybody feels bad, if you feel bad about the woke, again, the energy of your conversation positively, way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
I don't feel
negative.
bad personally. I feel bad that it's a thing that
Yeah.
has to be brought up in the world that we live in now. It's
Well,
just
we're-
bullshit.
Yeah, that's like a bad word or
Yeah,
something.
like,
Or
what the
take
fuck?
offense to it.
Uh,
We're agitators, though, are we not?
Yeah, we try as much as we can. You know, we do have a corporation to take care of too, so there's rabbit holes that probably shouldn't be touched. But yeah, we try to push the limits.
I mean, you guys have always been really generous to us. I mean, it's good to have friends.
But you guys are part of our community.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like the Milwaukee scene is pretty tight, and everybody gets along together, and it's a pretty great community.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone gets along really well. I remember, 10 years ago, kind of in the Rocker Box days, when it's like Harley Davidson people didn't really hang out with
Absolutely.
Japanese people who didn't really hang around with
Well, yeah, that was you.
the vintage people, and
You
so I was
remember
trying
that.
to get that going, and it was starting to come together. But
It
I
was
feel like
neat.
something's really, like us getting together was really when it like, and I feel like we started hanging out and doing this stuff at the same time when all that stuff, and it wasn't just us; it was happening all over the world and all over the country.
Who were the chicks you hung out with back in the day? Were they on the back?
Yeah,
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 on the
Are
back.
any of them riding now?
yeah.
That's
That's all that matters.
one
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yep. Well, and just
Talking
in the
about
amount, I think I really measure it by the amount of females I see on Instagram. The amount I see signing up for races, not just Flat Out Friday, but flat track races everywhere. And I haven't even been to a motocross race in like the last 5 years, so I have no idea. I'm sure that scene's full of it too. So I think parents teaching, young kids that it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
what gender you are. If you like ride bikes, then ride bikes, and if you
Yeah.
want to race. And
I think it's the exposure factor. Is that we didn't, I remember being little, like I grew up around my bikes. My dad always rode and everything, and I used to love being on the back. But, at my 5'2" frame, I never thought that I could handle one myself. And then I learned about customization. I learned about all this stuff. So, my bike is slammed, both of my bikes, so that I can actually, touch the ground on them.
Yeah, it's got to fit you, right? Like, you want to be
Yeah.
comfortable.
And manufacturing is kind of caught up to that too, right? Like they now understand that there's not just like one size of a person to ride. That
For
they
sure.
you can lower them pretty much a lot more easily. Isn't the Pan American just comes with a bunch of different rider settings, right, for different
Yeah.
ride heights?
Yeah, it's got that
The adjustable
electromagnetic.
ride height.
Yeah,
Super cool.
that's the future.
I mean, it's still a little tall for me, but
Even
You need that suspension. You're riding almost a dirt bike, so you have to be able to side saddle that one.
I mean, I had to have custom luring links made for my Yamaha because even still with the shorty springs on it, I was tiptoeing, and I would get up to a hill and I'd be like, oh no.
Don't go backwards.
I remember Dave doing that a couple times too, like just hanging one leg off the side and having
Oh, yeah.
just like
When did the
one
Baja
leg.
1000, Dave Kilken had to take his helmet off to stand on it to start it. And then he would put his helmet back on when he would get it started.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a little bit of controversial. I'm gonna call you out, and I want you to educate me on these things. So when we did a bike night a couple years ago, or I don't even know. Again, time, the last 3 years, I don't know, years, months, days, it's all the same. We did a bike night at Elwood's for the Mama Tried show. I think it was the first December 2nd, a year ago. I give you the reins, or not give you, because that even already sounds condescending. You had a night. We sponsored your night, Litas night, at Elwood's. Okay, and now then you brought out a woman that danced naked with a snake.
Yeah,
Okay, so now help me out as I'm trying to see you as a woman with fiery hair riding a motorcycle, and as a woman dancing naked with a snake. And I just kept rubbing my brow, looking at my boots, in total confusion.
But I
Help-
think to
help me
clarify,
through this.
she wasn't just dancing with a snake. Like, it's an
Calm
art
it. She was like some
performance.
rando.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's an artist, so
Okay.
first of all there. But we're feminine. We are women, but we ride motorcycles. I mean, could we go to an art where you admire a beautiful woman's body? Yeah, it could have been that. We brought entertainment. We're not ashamed of the female body or any of that. So that's why she was there. And she's a fucking rad chick.
She's awesome.
She's rad, and we like her, and she did this as a favor to us, and it was a good show.
Yeah.
She had a really good time. I think you might have been in the corner by that time.
I was standing there
Really,
with Jeremy.
Again, I'm trying to be a gentleman, and so I appreciate this. You were fucking with me. Do you know what I'm saying? I got this all figured out. I'm a liberal, woke gentleman. What's happening? And I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I think it's that dichotomy that most people forget too, is that you can have both strength and beauty. You can have pride in the feminine figure without being objectified, and you can be a badass motorcycle rider and still be appreciative of being a feminine creature. Like it's that dichotomy that allows sort of us to thrive in the community, because we're not just pigeonholed as one thing or another.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just like dudes, not every dude is an asshole.
No.
Like you have the good guys that are super supportive, but you also have the
The
guys
douchebags.
that are a little bit, not as
Save
nice.
that for the men, honey.
Yeah.
Like how Becky Goebel, I think that's how you say her last name. Actually, it's Axel. Her shirts are playing, like going backwards on all the 70s
sure.
sayings from the dickhead guys that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Give me some examples.
If you can read this, the
Dude fell off
If
the
you can
back.
read this, your dad fell off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, show me your dick, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, now I can't think of what
That was why I wanted to make a woman's shirt that said the bitch fell off.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a woman's cut
Yeah.
shirts for that. Yeah.
yeah.
Scott, you got cut off there. What were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think contradictions are inherent in everything, and that's what makes life interesting, right? That it's not just because you're a motorcyclist doesn't mean that you wear a black leather jacket and you have a beard and you don't say much and you just stand around with your, can of beer going, yep.
Yeah.
Talking about Harley
Hey,
Davidsons.
we like
It's like
those
it's
guys too. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, there is that,
there
but
is
there's
that.
but there's
They're cool.
but there's 100 different variations
Yeah.
of that person, and and
I
that's
just think
okay.
you have to have the ability to learn and
Yeah.
change and be willing
Yeah.
to accept that maybe you were wrong, or your opinions or your learned being was wrong, right? Like nobody wants to go back on their old man or uncles or whoever hell you were raised by, but I mean, there's some stuff out there that touches a nerve and probably wasn't correct. So you just got to be able to learn those parts, and as an adult, as you grow up,
Relearn it. Yeah.
you just got to start
Lauren,
forming it out.
You just defined what the word woke means. I'm sorry to keep pointing out the obvious.
Well, and the other thing is, I think with motorcycling, it attracts a certain kind of person, right? Like not everyone's attracted to it, and the kind of person that is attracted to bikes, I think, if there's anything that we all share in common, it's this this love of like a little bit of a wilder life and a little more risk taking. And so if that is true, then why can't we accept lots of different people doing it the way that they want to do it, no matter whether you like that or not? Because it's about, freedom. I know that word's been totally overused, but and now it has all kinds of different connotations on it, but really that's what it is, right? It's like the scene is supposed to be you just being you and without judgment. And I think maybe motorcycling has gotten away from that a little bit. I think it's come a long ways back from that. And actually, I think it's come a great deal back from that. So I think just the fact that there's, female riding groups are, 10 years ago, when did Litas start? 7 years ago?
Almost.
There's
It's one of the
6, 7 years
So
ago.
there's
Yeah,
like
almost
the
10.
stilettos.
Okay.
In Milwaukee.
In
Who's
Milwaukee.
the other
There's
lady?
the rivets.
The rivets. There's the what are those women called? Oh, the riding group. The Diamond Girls, I think, or the Divine
Divas.
Empress, the Divas. There's another one
That's
too.
great.
I
Yeah.
mean, and they're not just. This other group is like a Latina women's riding group, and then there's a African American. So it's really cool to not just see women, but the difference,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
the cultural difference.
Right, cultural differences, age differences, like different
Mm-hmm.
identities and
Yeah.
walks of life. Like
Yeah.
it's
And I
all
want to
over the
highlight
board.
something, again, obvious to us in the room, but maybe not obvious to our listener. This is nothing to do with MCs. This is nothing to
Absolutely.
do with any of those traditions.
No,
This is an empowerment riding group.
Did you draw an elephant in your book?
This is the racetrack in Brazil. So if you can see that, it's pretty top secret.
Gotcha.
I got one thing. I got a couple more burning points here. Now, this is what I thought was really great about this. When you mentioned a man, so you guys, I saw for a glimpse of a second, you three said this. He's a guy, but he's not an asshole. My point is, are men like known as being assholes?
Well, so I think when you think about it, like Scott said, like there could be 100 different versions of guys that are out riding motorcycles, but we're not at the point that it's recognized that there's 100 different kind of women that are out riding motorcycles. So we're just not to that level. It is inclusive, and it's getting, I think that's where it's sort of pushing that edge of where do we go next, is acknowledging that there's not just one specific type of woman rider, that we need to be able to see those variations and those differences, which is why Milwaukee's great though, because, you know, the home of Harley Davidson, everything else, like there's this already accepted cultural appreciation for motorcycles.
Yeah.
And now we're just trying to tap into that little bit of extra exclusively as females.
I don't know if I agree with you, because there's a lot of assholes, and maybe it's because I'm several years older, but when me and Michelle rode out to Arizona last year, on a whole, everyone was pretty cool. But the motorcycle dudes, if we rode into a gas station or wherever we were camping, those dudes immediately came up and they're like, oh, do you need help? No, fucker. I just rode 2,500 miles by myself to get to this point, and I'm still not there. So yes, I think maybe because it's an age thing, there are definitely a ton of assholes. But when you find a few good ones, that makes it, it's silver lining.
That's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And you got to sort through them. You got to be willing to sort through them because you know you're walking into that.
That goes double full.
And it's not because maybe they were raised that way. It's not because they're
Absolutely,
assholes.
for sure.
They just don't know.
It's
And
the
that
exposure.
breed will die out.
I'll do the same shit, but I have to be told or like slapped in the face like, hey, don't be a dick. Sometimes it happens.
Would it help if I apologize for these men in the gas station?
No, we're good.
Does it
I
make you
can
feel any
take
better?
it. Can you take? I looked at that dude, and I'm sarcastic, and then it comes off as bitchy, which I'm working on. And I was like,
Great
dude,
job.
no, I'm good. And then they're hesitant to talk, but then I can kind of, no, I'm funny. I'm trying to be funny, and then they're like, oh, okay, ha ha ha. Where are you girls from?
Yeah.
And they're super cool. But that initial, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The initial misconceptions.
Yeah. For sure.
It's that, or it's can I ride on the back? And
Yeah.
I have had dudes ask me
Yeah.
that. I have had
complete strangers
Yeah.
Really?
at the gas station.
All right.
But I wanted to say something because I want to circle back. Women who just want to be on the back are as rad as women who ride.
Yeah.
There's no difference. They are not comfortable riding, and I take a ton of girlfriends that I have on rides all the time, and then they're like, well, wait, maybe I can do that. So it's not just the women who ride, but it's the women who want to seek that thrill too.
It's
I
gutsy
think.
to climb on the back of a motorcycle
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
not in control.
You have to let go of that
I am
control
not
to
a
be
good
like,
passenger.
no.
Yeah, I don't know if
Really, Val? I wouldn't.
Hell no. I'm not good. I'm like, God, oh no, don't go with the bike. Oh, no. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, awful.
We were highlighting that last episode that there is many people in our community that just aren't cool chopper builders. There's many
There are what?
that aren't just cool chopper builders. There's many people in our community that do lots of rad things
Absolutely.
that don't have. You can't just take the measurement of the clout of how long you've been riding, right? Or how many miles do you have? That can't be the only measurement of why you're welcome in our community. And so it's great to hear you highlight that yes, women that are involved that aren't riders are still welcome and an important part of the community.
Absolutely.
I want to ask a couple things now to keep these podcasts congruent, if you will. I want to know a little bit more about you. So I feel pretty confident about the Litas. If we could pause that chapter, and we could debate this philosophically. Actually, we're not even debating. We're just pushing the limits.
We're all agreeing.
I do want to press you that this isn't breaking news, but we do still have Wednesday night at Elwood's. You can still have that night if you want it.
So what?
February.
Kick off on the
You
Tribe.
mean coming up for
15?
Mama Chet's
Yes.
out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should we not have?
No, there's no should. There's
I think I missed that.
There is no shoulds. I am not in the position
I
to
know
say
that,
should.
but-
I'm asking you to help me through it.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to call you up meaning you were inappropriate. The word inappropriate shouldn't even be on the
I'm
table.
inappropriate.
It's helped.
Sorry.
It's helped me through this that I.
You just flipped the script on him. He's just nervous
Yeah.
about it. You're talking about pushing buttons, and
I
they just
know.
pushed
Okay,
yours.
I'm
We're
sorry.
good, we're
Because-
good.
well, that's yeah.
Thank you for that. We will consider that.
And don't listen to him. Don't take do your thing.
We're gonna do a race there. That's the only part I will do, and then I'll pause and ask you, Val, what's next? Right? What do you want to do next? And
Don't
it's your
call
show.
me Val. Literally,
Don't call you
don't
Val.
call me Val. I'm like fucking for real right now. People who don't know who I am as a person, call me Val. My friends, call me Valerie.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
I know you do.
I am putting this in on my notes here.
My
I have
Instagram
to tell you though.
is actually never _Val. So you've never become a good enough friend to me that I ever told you don't.
Okay. Well,
call
now
me
we've
Val.
crossed the threshold.
You are
But I
my
want to say
best
this.
friend.
Do you
I
remember
want to
the?
come play hockey.
Do you remember the very first thing
At
that
your
how this
house.
podcast started was? I'm not very good with names, so I can't guarantee that I'm going to get
You
this
get a
right,
pass.
Valerie.
You get a pass.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Margaret, what drew you to motorcycles? What you growing up? What?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, my dad had motorcycles and rode throughout my childhood, and plenty of riding on the back. But I don't know that it necessarily crossed my mind that I could ride a motorcycle. And if he were still alive today, I don't know that he would approve of me riding a motorcycle.
Did you ride when you were a child, or just on the back?
Just on the
doing
back, just as a kid, not even as like a teenager or anything like that.
But you didn't have any dirt bikes or scooters?
No
or?
dirt bikes, no scooters, nothing like that. Not even riding lawnmower. But I think just in the back of my mind as an adult, like, oh, that'd be so cool when I'm older. So cool to learn how to ride when I'm older. And a neighbor friend of mine had a motorcycle and was riding around in the neighborhood and offered to teach me. And I was like, maybe someday. And there was a newsletter at the company that I was working at the time that featured motorcycle riders at the company, and they did a special section for the women riders, and that was what convinced me to start right away. I was like, wait, this person rides? That person rides? Okay, I can totally do it. If they can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
And my friend took me around, and I think the St. Thomas More High School parking lot down the street, and taught me how to ride.
What did you start on? What did you practice on?
He had a 85 Yamaha Maxim,
Sure.
like a 750. And that was pretty comfortable for me, so I bought a, I think, 85 Yamaha Virago. It was an old man bike. And then I found a guy that was fixing up or building bikes on the north side of Milwaukee. I wish I remembered his name, but I got a 98 Yamaha custom V-Star from him that he fixed up. It doesn't look like anything. Most people are like, what kind of bike is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, is that a Harley?
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing on it. But I love it. It's so
Cool.
easy to ride. And I'm so glad my friend taught me. But that, just seeing that there was other women that rode that I didn't know that rode, that's what drew me over the edge.
That's your daily rider right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I've had it maybe 6-7 years.
Where do you live?
Bayview.
Okay, because I feel like I see one like right off of Brady Street all the time. That just matches that
What?
It
description.
wouldn't be me.
No,
No, that sounds like
there's another one.
Solid black tank with no
Yeah,
badges.
there's a haint out there.
They don't know what
Yeah.
that means.
A ghost.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but they don't know
Southern
that.
Ghost, right?
Why don't we know what that means?
Do you know what a haint is?
Mm-mm.
No,
Do you know the
no,
haints in
no,
Alabama? Have you met any
no,
of them?
no.
You should make a point if you see them at Mom and Try to go up and say
Those
hi.
guys are great.
Okay.
Yeah, haint is Southern Ghost. Is like their
Is it a building?
No,
no,
that's
it's like
the
a
name
little
of their
club, like the Litas.
group.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Very
But
good.
they, you know,
Very
it's,
good.
they were new. There wasn't a big scene in Birmingham, and they'd see a bike go by, and they'd be like, on a cool chopper, like, who the hell's that guy? Or who's that girl?
Okay.
And they named it the Haints. That's what that came
Okay.
from.
Valerie, what drew you to motorcycles?
So I'm the youngest of 5, and there's a big, huge gap in between there, like 10 plus years. And
Oops.
my dad, what?
Oops.
I was the love child. And so by that time, my parents had some money, and they bought land up in Tomahawk. And so,
Is that where the cabin is?
no,
No?
yeah, that one's in Dundee. But I was the baby, so I had to go. My older siblings could party out in my dad's basement because they were 18. It was legal to drink then, and I would go up north and I would fish and I would hunt, snowmobile, ATV 3 or 4, any little bike my dad could fuck around with, like whatever was in the garage somewhere, he'd fix it up and then I'd get to tool around. And that was the start. And then I moved out east and it was all crotch rockety out there. And then I came back here and I had kids and I didn't ride. And then I started riding again.
What are you riding
met
now?
These bitches.
Right.
What?
You're riding is it Dyna?
2016.
Yeah, it's a picture.
It's a really nice bike. I rode it.
You
Remember?
did? When, yeah.
It's a very
And
nice.
you didn't hurt it. Thank you very much.
I rode very slow and I was very careful and respectful.
Does it have a name? Do you name your bike?
Both of mine do.
Yeah.
What's your? You don't do it? No.
Her.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
It's loud. It's got those great mufflers on there.
Yeah.
It's a hot pipe.
That's because I rode Triumph with stock pipes, and they're like,
You still have that Triumph?
yes. Oh, and I got hit because I was going along, and so now I have big loud. And I used to be so pissed at this dude at the end of my street. He had like 10, what are those bikes with the big tires? You know, the big ones that they,
Oh, the
we call them
big rear-
Harry Potter bikes.
The big rear tire, the,
Yeah.
the big.
Is it a big wheel bagger?
Yeah, but it's not that. What are those? They're a type of bike where they're...
Oh, the TW250, like the dirt bikes with the
No,
big
this is
donut
a big,
tires.
huge chopped out bike, and they call them something. It's a group of dudes in the
Orange,
city.
the orange.
It's giant wheels.
Yes, but
And
they're
they're
like
really
once
low.
all rusted out. It's all that shit. He lived down at the end of my block. He still does, but I'm pretty sure his old lady made him get rid of some bikes. But he would be so loud, and I'm like, how can you ride a bike that loud? Now I know why you bred it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, every time I rep my engine. Sorry. So that's how.
Thanks.
Awesome.
32 years of trying to be not in the house, being bored.
You look great for 32.
Thank you. Yes.
Kelly, how'd you get involved with motorcycles?
So as I said, I grew up around them, and I'm in between two boys. So as soon as they were old enough, both my brothers were like, boom, my older brother got this big BMW 1200 GS. My younger brother immediately got a Ducati Monster because he just wanted to go fast. And I was like, oh, no, like, I can't do it. And I was lucky enough to work for 2 different motorcycle companies throughout my career. And still, no, I don't think I can do it. And my husband, I was out on a work trip, and my husband calls me and goes, hey, like, I found a bike at the dealership I really like. Like, I'm going to go ahead and finance it. And I was like, okay, no problem. So he sends me a picture of his, Road Glide Special, and I'm like, oh, it's beautiful, like, whatever. And I go, oh, well, how much did you finance? He's like, oh, like 52 grand. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you buy? Like, what is it? Well, what I didn't know was he bought me a 1200 for Mother's Day. So we then went, we picked up here. I'm like 4 months postpartum with my second child, and I have this brand new motorcycle. I have no license. I don't know how to ride. He drove it home from the dealership for me. And I loved that 1200. That's how I learned how to ride. And
That's
funny,
the bike that you learned to ride on?
yeah, a brand new off the
right.
showroom floor 1200.
All right.
But my mother-in-law loved it so much that when we went to do the trade-in, we had her pick one up in Boston instead. So then I was like, well, now I have no motorcycle. So we found a bike on Craigslist that was a custom build from Hell's Harley before they closed. Guy gave us a really good deal on it, and I have that bike now, and I absolutely love it. It's a little 883, and then because I'm, getting to be more confident, I'm like, oh, well, I want to go try a different style now. So now I have a Yamaha FC09 as well.
Right.
And so my Yamaha is more of my long distance rider when we're going up north or we're going somewhere farther. I have a bag on the back that I can pack all my shit in. And depending on how I feel, depends on what bike I grab. And, it's just...
tools.
I know. Well, unfortunately, both my kids race. So, we have started the little collections of 50s and 60s and stuff as they're starting to get older. And they absolutely loved it as well. So, like, my daughter will come to bike night things with us, and I'll throw her 50 in the back of the SUV and, like, park around the corner so she could ride up instead.
Yeah, we have one out front of Fuel.
Yeah, and at
That's
Fuel,
cool.
she's been there a handful of
Charlotte.
times, Charlotte. So I absolutely love it, and it's been that little piece that it was. I never thought I could do it, and I'm so proud of myself that now I don't just own one bike, I own two, and I'm like the cool one at work that rides her motorcycle to work.
Charlotte,
Nice.
it has.
Charlotte,
Yes.
Yep.
That's rad. That
Different Charlotte.
No,
Charlotte
no.
hasn't been to Azzy.
Gotcha.
Charlotte's only
she's
done
There's
flat
another-
out.
out.
There's another
Flat out.
Charlotte that
Yeah.
races
Yes.
in the 50cc.
How
That's
old
right.
is she?
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple questions that added up there. So you're at work and then you have these motorcycles. Where do you work?
So I originally worked for Eric Buell Racing.
Okay.
After they restarted when Buell closed, and unfortunately we closed as well. And I was lucky enough that Harley scooped up about 20 of us in the office. So
So you
I
don't
was
work
at
for
Harley
Harley right
for just about 4 years, and I left in 18.
To do what do you do, Miss Kelly?
I'm in aerospace engineering now.
Oh, nice.
Are you an engineer?
I am not. I'm in contracts.
So she works with the government to get all them flyers up in the air.
I do.
She got to go
That's
to
cool.
DC. See all them
And your
flyers.
two kids race flat track?
They do.
Uh,
So Charlotte's done Flat Out Friday twice. She just turned 8.
Is that her only race?
So far. And then my son, Robbie, turned 4 in January, so he was just old enough to make the cutoff for this year. So he's got a handful more years that he can still do it, but this will be the last year Charlotte can do the 50 class. 'cause
So
she
you
just
have
turned
two
8.
50s?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
And
Wow.
she just got a 60 for her birthday in September.
Does she
So
know?
Alright.
Oh, she knows.
Wow.
So, yeah.
She's gonna be there soon.
So sign up was going to be in a couple weeks.
I do.
We're only
Yeah.
taking 12 50s.
I do.
And there's a 60 class if she wants to try it too.
Oh, really?
It'll be a 60, 65 class.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
We'll get around on that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's still time in the season.
And we're not saving any spots. It's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your shit ready.
Yep.
Just soon
As
to
soon as
practice
that
run.
email drops, we are ready to go.
You understand when we're setting that up, if we have 13, it changes the way the program flows.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be 12 or 24 or so on and so
Mhm.
forth. Yep. All right, and nobody else has, what about, you have any racing experience?
Hell no.
No racing experience.
No.
You know,
I mean, I go fast.
I think Lala and Jeremy have a race started. They're gonna race each other. You should jump in.
They're both newbies.
Yeah, well, I know my thing. I
What
know
are
my
you
way around the track.
what are you racing, sir?
Yeah, I got a CR 15082.
I think I'll pass. How about you, Miss Margaret? No. I yell at people at work. That's all I do. Because you asked her what she does.
Yeah,
so
you yell at people at work. That's all
what
that
I
you do.
That's my
It seems
job.
like you'd be pretty good for that
I
job.
am
I don't know what else, anything else about it,
I've
but
been there and I've witnessed it.
Yeah, we did some nice stone.
is yelling like you're trying to motivate people, or is the job specifically you saw in the ads
And they
yelling
were
at people? I want that job,
No, I just I work for a stone fabrication company.
and you think that yelling at people all day is the
No,
best
I work
medium to
in
get
a-
work done?
It's very.
I
What,
work,
you work
in
for the
a
Flintstones?
male-dominated industry. Not that I won't lift stone, but it's a bunch of dudes. And I have 3 sons, and I've learned in that raising 3 sons, sometimes a woman's got to yell to get what she needs done.
So you treat the foundry like is it a foundry? What do they call it? Where
Factory.
Fred
Shop.
Flintstone's got the
Yeah.
you get out. Will you get the yeah? You
Yep.
come there and start yelling.
Oh, here she comes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They all just scatter to the back, and then the door doesn't work on the push button, so you have to slam it down, and they're like, click, 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 click. Yeah, I'm that person at my job. But I have a really good job. So at the stone fabrication company I work with. So if either of you gentlemen want to put some natural stone or quartz in your
Alright.
kitchens,
Alright.
let me know.
Drop that low.
Why would you
Only
point to
yelling
us?
at you.
Do we look like we're in the market for quartz?
Quartzites, got some good stone back there.
Yeah. What is that stuff we put in there?
That was a granite. It's called steel gray. It's leathered finish. It's really rad.
All right.
We'll
Check
drink
it out.
beers around it in the summer.
Margaret, I don't want to leave you out. Are you working? What's the? I
Yes.
don't want to leave you out on this.
Yeah. No, I'm an operations manager for medical practice in the community. So
So not at all related to any sort
not
of
at all.
dirty fingernails.
No, completely unrelated.
All right, all right. We're gonna.
Wait, do you ride your motorcycle to work?
I do sometimes, yeah. If I can, if I'm wearing the right attire and I don't have too many things to carry with me.
And your colleagues are like, what?
Yes, they're like, "Did you bring your motorcycle
They know,
today?"
yeah.
Yes, yeah, they definitely know.
That's cool.
Every time I'd walk in the office with my helmet, the president of my company, who's no longer with it, used to like look outside of his office and be like, "Oh, you ride today?" Nope, I just like to carry my helmet around. But yes, I did. It's sitting outside if you want to come see it again.
Right. That's great.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Sure.
Litas. I can't believe it was an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, went fast.
It was
That's
a
good.
bold statement. The fastest hour we've ever houred.
We're women.
We know how to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
lead is, if people want to sign up, that's what's, we don't usually do this because people aren't usually selling a product, so to speak.
Right.
But I think this is different. So if people want to get involved, why don't you summarize real quick?
Yeah, the best way to find us is either download the Collective app with the Litas, and it's easy to sign up there, or on Instagram. That's the best way to go. Find us, Litas Milwaukee, and we've got a link on there for signing up, which it's free. It's literally just your name and your info, and you're in.
And then you call them back, you reach out and say, hey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
We put a picture up to feature them as one of our new members, and everyone gets to applaud and clap for them on Instagram, which is great.
How many members strong do you think Milwaukee is?
It's pushing 200
Whoa.
women that
Way,
have signed up.
way underestimated. That's great. That's a ton. That's
And there's a
lot.
large
Right.
reach, right? Because there's women as far out as Madison, up north. We've got several members that are in Illinois as
That
well
drive
that
up.
come up
Yep.
here, just because there's a lot of things that we do. We try to keep busy, whether it's the meetups or rides, or a camp out or different activities
But
that
you are
attracts a lot
welcome
of
to
different
join us.
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, and if you find and you have any suggestions, or you want to throw a hat or a name in the hat for builders or women to be part of the show,
Well,
reach
Yeah,
out.
let us know.
Brooke.
Yeah, we have Brooke already. She's committed. We just got her phone
Oh,
yesterday.
Awesome.
Nice. Brooke, yeah. Sleepy Farts.
That's her.
She's pretty badass.
Yeah.
She's a woman of many skills.
Yeah.
Skateboards, BMX.
BMX, yeah.
Yep.
And she's really hot.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Good job.